And live from the Scheinfeld Center Innovator Studio at Santa Barbara City College, it's the Enlightened Entrepreneur Podcast, where we inform and inspire Gen Z to become even more entrepreneurial and innovative in our global economy. I'm your host, Julie Sampson, director of the Scheinfeld Center, and thank you for joining us here again to create livelihoods that matter, be your own boss, and make the world an even better place. Well, if you're here, you're probably either an aspiring entrepreneur who is devising a solution to bring to market, or perhaps you might be submitting your entry to the Red Bull Basement Competition, which is a competition where 45 countries are, students in 45 countries are submitting their 60-second pitch videos about a solution that makes campus life better or life in their community better. So whichever scenario you find yourself in will help you devise a high impact solution. All right, so Peter Drucker, who is the most widely known and influential thinker on business management, said that the purpose of a business is to create a customer. And in order to create a customer, you need to solve a significant problem or a compelling need for those who you serve. The more urgent the problem or need, the faster you'll find a customer. And then you need to design a high impact solution that solves the customer's problem in a way that delivers value better than current solutions and in a way that matters to your customers. So examples of delivering value are creating things that are more efficient, that are easier, that are less costly, that are better quality, or deliver a better customer experience. Those are just some examples. In our last podcast in this series, we provided a valuable framework for how do you come up with a problem worth solving. And in this podcast, we'll discuss how do you devise that high impact solution. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to give you a 6-step strategy on how to develop your solution. So to begin with, it's good to start with the end in mind. So the Red Bull competition guidelines state that the solution you devise needs to have high impact, be feasible, meaning doable, be creative, involve technology, and have support of your community of end users or customers and your surrounding community on campus and in the location where you live. So with that in mind, let's start with a 6-step solution. So the first thing to do is, after you've identified the problem that you're going to solve, you need to research alternatives that are on the market. So look at what's already available and what people are using to solve that problem. For most and every problem, there's going to be other solutions on the market, right? So Google, the best thing to do is just to Google the most likely questions that people who have the problem are searching for, right? So if you were developing an app that helps students connect with other study groups on campus, you might search for things like, what are the best ways to connect with study groups on campus? You might search for that with your own campus in mind, and from the search results, look at the alternatives that come up just on the first page and identify what problem is being solved, who they're solving it for, what their solution is, what's unique about their solution, the unique features and benefits of that solution, and then look at reviews. What do people like best about that solution? What don't they like? And after you have done that review, find out what are the top 3 to 5 solutions that people are using to solve that type of problem. Then brainstorm technology. You can do this even if you're not a techie type person, right? It's good to know what technology is being used in your industry to make the customer experience better or make businesses within the industry that you're bringing a solution to market for. What are the top technology solutions that are being implemented? So you can do a Google search for this. Again, Google is your friend. Just Google, what are the top technology trends in 2021, for instance? And what are the top technology trends in, insert to the blank, your industry? And you can see just on the first page results, what those top technology trends, just in general and also within your industry are. So let's take an example. So Uber uses the Internet of Things to keep track of their drivers and their passengers using GPS, right? And then they use that data generated from that in the Internet of Behavior. So how does, for instance, the driver's behavior affect the experience of the passenger? And that will help them identify how to optimize the experience to provide the very best experience for the passengers, right? So Internet of Things and Internet of Behavior, those are two technological trends that have been, at the top of the trends year to year for quite some time. Search what's going on in your industry and see what could be applied to create a new and innovative solution, to solve the problem that you're seeking to solve. Then the third step is to create a prototype. So you don't need to know coding or any technology to create a prototype of the solution that you are imagining to bring to market. So you can use really simple ways to create a simulation of the customer experience. A really simple way to do this is to set out to create a 60-second demonstration of your concept. And a good way to do this is to identify and state in one sentence what the problem is that you're solving. In one sentence, what is the solution that you're bringing to market? And then with the rest of the time in that 60 seconds, go step by step through the solution using visuals to describe, each step. An easy way to do this is to use a Google slide deck or a PowerPoint slide deck to go step by step, demonstrating a solution. So you can use what we call wireframes. If this is an app, for instance, which is just an outline of what the app would look like step by step when the user progresses through it. It's just you can use the shapes in Google Slides to create the image of the face of an app and just go, develop a face for each step in the use of that app that simulates the step-by-step experience of the customer when they're using your app. You can do the same thing for a website. So you don't have to know technology in order to do a demonstration, because you can imagine what it is that you're going to do that's better or different than current alternatives to create the optimal customer experience. Okay, so third step, create a prototype. The fourth step, after you have that prototype, it's really good to talk with a subject matter expert. This is whether you have expertise in technology and expertise in the industry that you're devising a solution for. Regardless of whether you have that expertise, there's always somebody who knows more than you do about the technology or about that particular industry. So take that 60-second demo of your solution and get it in front of a subject matter expert. Take them out for coffee, say, hey, I just want to run this idea by you, and ask you a couple of questions about it, or just set up a 15-minute meeting. You could even do this virtually if you have if you created a video of your demonstration, right? And, demo it and then have 3 questions that's really going to tap into their knowledge. You don't want these questions to be things that you could easily research yourself. You really want to tap into the knowledge of the subject matter expert. So things that 3 questions could be, how could I make this technology a better experience for the end user? Would this technology be feasible from your perspective? How could this be even better, done even better with technology as a solution? So just 3 questions, 3 simple questions. You can get this conversation, this meeting done in 15 minutes. And the information that you get from this can help you develop a better solution for your customers. So the next thing after you have had that meeting, go ahead and revise your demo. And then you're going to take that demo and get it in front of those people who you anticipate are your customers. Okay, so these are people who have the problem that you are devising a solution for. They're not satisfied with current alternatives. They're looking for a solution and they're willing to give you feedback on your solution. All right, so the people you get this demo in front of should satisfy all 4 of those. Otherwise, if you're just getting this in front of family, friends that don't really have the solution, don't really have the problem, and you're asking for their feedback, it's kind of irrelevant because they don't have the problem anyway. They're not the ones who are dissatisfied with current solutions and seeking a better solution. People who are in that space of actually having the problem, looking for a better solution, really eager to try something new, they are the ones who are going to give you the golden feedback, and they could become your first customers, right? So take your demo and demo it in front of them. And then it's good to have a strategic question set that you are asking them, and you ask the same questions to each person that you demo this in front of. Okay, so good questions. I will put an example of this question set in the description of the video. But good questions to ask are, what do you like best about the solution? What could be improved about the solution to create a better customer experience for you? Which features and benefits would be the deal breakers for you, that if they weren't there, the person just would not be interested in purchasing and using this solution? What features are non-essential for you? Do you not care about? There may be things that you want to bake into the solution that you think, oh, this is going to make it so amazing for the end user. And then you get in front of your actual anticipated customers and they don't even care about that thing, right? So why would you spend the time and money creating a solution with features and potential benefits that don't even matter to the customer, right? So it's really important to get straight on that. When would you be ready to buy this solution? It's really good to ask this question to evaluate what is the level of urgency with them purchasing this solution. So, if they say like, well, right now, when is this going to be available? That shows really good urgency. If they're like, oh, I don't know, over the next 6 months, year or so, well, that doesn't show a lot of urgency. And the thing is that if people don't have a high urgency to purchase your solution, That's going to increase the time that it takes in order to get customers on board with your solution, if they ever do come on board, right? So you want to shorten the time between when anticipated customers learn about your solution and when they purchase solution. You want ideally a very short time frame so that you can generate sales. There's people using your solution, you're capturing their feedback and seeing how satisfied they are. You are, oh, just went out of focus. You want to ask things like, on a 0 to 5 scale, how likely would you be to recommend this solution to others? So that's really relevant, because if they aren't very likely to recommend it, it's not very likely that your solution is going to do well. Okay, because you will really, in the beginning especially, but you will really lean on referrals, word of mouth referrals, in order for your solution to take off. That's especially true anytime, but especially in the beginning when you're launching your new solution. Okay, so asking whether they are likely to refer your solution to others is a really important thing. And then the next thing to ask is, once I have the actual product, that I'm going to bring to market, or the service that I'm going to bring to market, would you be willing to give me final feedback on this solution? And finally, can you refer me to 1 to 3 other people who likely have this problem and are really searching for another solution? Most of the time, when people are unhappy with current solutions, they are vocalizing what they're unhappy about. That may be, with other people who are trying to solve that problem and are finding the same thing. You may find this in forums online. You might find it in product reviews, right? So you can find, people who are having a certain problem, trying to find a better solution, likely know others who are in the same boat. And if they really believe in what you're bringing to market, they would be willing, most likely, to refer you to others. And so you can ask them for an introduction to those other people, and that can help you grow that initial customer base once you do bring your product or service to market. Okay, so the last step, sixth and last step, is to revise and simplify your solution. So you take all of that feedback from the demonstrations that you've done in front of people who have the problem, the demonstration that you did in front of your subject matter expert. You've been collecting all that data, right? So you don't go through all of this trouble to do these demonstrations and then not collect the data. Sometimes people think, oh, I'll remember what they say. But once you start doing these, it's a really fast way to learn about your how to improve your solution that you're bringing to market. And so then you'll be collecting a lot of data, and if you aren't capturing it, then you will lose that. Okay, it'll be hard for you to summarize, well, how many people said that they wanted a certain feature or over another? How many people said that they, if you asked, for instance, how much would this solution be worth to you? If you looked at the feedback from those people, you could get an idea of the price range that they might be willing to pay. All right. So capturing your data allows you to look at that data and identify trends and the features and benefits that are most highly sought after, that were the deal breakers for people. Those are the features and benefits that you should include in your solution to bring to market. Now, it's really important to bring the simplest solution to market that solves your customer's need and delivers the value proposition that's important to them and enables you to create the solution as quickly as possible and as cost efficiently as possible, right? So this isn't about creating the most extravagant solution you can imagine to bring to market. You want to create what is your minimum viable product, or MVP, and it's the most elegant, streamlined, cost-effective solution, that you can bring to market that will also make your customer happy. Okay, so once you have revised and simplified that, you are ready to get into prototyping, developing your prototype, your working prototype, and actually working to bring this product or service to market with those, what we call early adopters, those people that you've talked to who said that they're interested and are waiting for you to bring this solution to market. Okay, so in summation, these are the 6 steps to develop a high impact technology-based solution to your customers. So first is research alternatives, brainstorm technology, create a prototype, meet with a subject matter expert, demo your solution, and revise and simplify your solution. Okay, so for instance, if you are submitting a concept, an entry to the Red Bull Challenge, going through these steps would enable you to create a really powerful 60-second pitch video, which is the entry to the Red Bull Challenge. Okay, and we will be going over best practices to create a high impact winning 60-second pitch video in our next episode next week. But before we go there, let's check to see if there are any questions here. Let's see. Okay, there's a question about this. Great question. How many interviews, how many people do demonstrations, I think is what the person is saying. How many demonstrations do you need to do before you have really good data? That's a really good question. So of course, the more the better, but you can also overdo this, to where you're spending so much time in research and development that it actually delays bringing your product or service to market. And, that's just time for other people who are trying to solve the same problem to bring their solution to market before yours, right? And so I always say that you will know when you've done enough interviews, when you start to see trends in your data. So that might be after 10 people you do your demo in front of, after 20 people, once you start to hear similar things over and over, that is a good indication that you're getting the gist of what features and benefits your solution should include. Okay, that's a really great question. Okay, another question is, how do I develop a demo when I'm not versed in technology? Okay, so the thing to remember here is that although you may not be a techie, we can say it, a techie, somebody who is good at technology is their thing, that's what they're doing. If even though you may not be a techie type of person, everybody these days is using technology as a part of their day-to-day life, right? So say you're thinking about bringing an app to market. There are apps that you have used that you've experienced, good solutions, good experiences with, and not good experiences with, right? You've used the screens to navigate around. Same thing with websites, right? If you were developing some kind of a robotic thing, you may have not had a personal experience with, a robot, but there's lots of examples of robotics online, videos on YouTube that you can look at for, how do robots work, right? So you have an idea of the experience. And so when you're doing your demo, you can make drawings, you can make simulated screens, like I said, in Google Slides, that show what the screen would look like, whether that's on your smartphone or your tablet or your computer. You just do what we call a mock-up, and like I said, think about each step that a person would need to go through in order to complete the main function of the solution that you're bringing to market. And just make a screen, if you're doing this in Google Slide, make a slide for each step, and show the solution. And then when you are doing the demo, you just talk people through that, through your screen, so that they can get the gist of how your solution would work. If you're making a video out of this, you would just you could use Zoom, to create your video, where there's a thumbnail of you presenting, the video of you talking, and you're presenting your slide deck, and you're just moving through your slide deck, talking people through it. And then you get, after you finish your demo, then you can talk with the person and ask your question set. Okay, so that was a really great question. Let's see if we have time for one more. Yeah, so how many questions is too many questions? That's a really good question, because if you are if your question set is so long that it's taking you more than 15 minutes to get through a demonstration and meeting with someone, that's too many, that's too much, right? So really think about your questions that you're asking, and make sure that the data that you will get from that is really going to be something that will drive a decision about the product or service that you want to bring to market, right? Eliminate all extraneous questions. In the question set that I'll put below the video to use when you're doing your demo, ask yourself, why is that question there? So I'm not going to put any questions down there that the data that you get from it wouldn't really matter. Okay, every question there will matter. So look at that data set, the question set, and then there may be a few additional questions, really specific to your particular solution, that you would want to sprinkle in there. Make it be the questions that would really be the decision making, the data that you get from it would really help drive the decision about what you're going to bring to market. Okay, so that is our time for today. I hope that this has helped you in your entrepreneurial journey on how to devise a high impact solution, for your customers. Together, you need that problem that's a migraine level problem, and a solution that creates lots of positive impact, a solution that makes their lives better and that they love to use. Okay, so these two videos that we've done in this series will help you with that. We hope you'll join us next week when we'll help you develop a winning pitch about your idea. Okay, until then, thank you so much for joining us, everyone. Take care. Have a great week. Bye-bye.